Hi everybody, I'm here at Honeybee Havens. Here is one of the bee boxes that the Mercymount kids decorated in art class this week. There are several boxes around. One of the beehives has been sponsored by Mercymount. This is the one right here. And here are the bees over here. They're getting ready to move into their new beautifully decorated home. How many bees are in there?
There are about 10,000 bees. This is a 3-pound package, which is the most common, and typically that houses about 10,000 bees.
10,000. And then at some point they'll add a queen, and we'll see if they like the queen or not.
What they do when they shake the packages, basically they take a bunch of established beehives and they will shake bees. They will find the queen first so they don't shake her into a package, and then they will shake bees into packages like this until they get 3 pounds of bees, and then they will add a queen to it that they've reared separately. And so the bees are not used to the queen that is now in the hive, so they see her as an enemy, and so that's why she's in a separate cage, so they don't kill her. If I could get this can out, it would be great.
And have these bees all been together for a long time, or are they?
Not all of these.
No.
They may shake several different hives into a package to get the weight of bees that they need.
And honeybees are not usually aggressive, which I guess is why you're not wearing gloves.
They can be. It depends on what time of year and a lot of other circumstances. The major reason I don't wear the gloves is because I get a better feel for the hives. I can manipulate things. I found with the gloves that I was crushing bees and I wasn't able to grab things as well, so I'm not really afraid of them. So I find it's much more effective for me to be able to grab things and not have to worry about having bulky gloves on.
And since right now they don't have an established hive, so they're not trying to defend honey or their queen. Right now they're just trying to be bees and get into a new house. That's the queen cage.
Ooh, she's feisty.
I'll check her home so she doesn't.
Yep. So the queen has a white spot on her abdomen. That there are different marking colors. This year is white, some years are blue, etc. So she's in there with some attendants. This is basically it's a candy block. It's timed so that it takes the bees about 3 days to be able to eat through this. So what we'll do when we put this in is we will take out the cork, we'll put a hole through it with a finish nail, and these attendants will eat it from this side and all the other bees will eat it out from the other side, and by the time they release her, they will be happy with her in most cases.
Great.
So I'm going to put
She
her
goes in the pocket to keep her warm until.
Oh, she goes in your pocket?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we
that-
want to keep the queen
Gotta
warm.
keep her warm.
The
That's
queen
cute.
is the most important bee in the hive. If the queen goes, then the hive goes. So unless they have a way to rear bees, so they would have to have eggs that are less than 3 days old so that they could turn those into queen cells. So that's she's an important bee. You got to be real careful with her.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this 3-pound package of about 10,000 bees and we are going to shake them into the hive. This doesn't hurt the bees. Of course they can fly, but they're very light. Even when they land on top of each other, it's not a pig pile. It's just a big bunch of bees. So not all of them come out. So what we do is we put the package there, and once the queen is inside, the other bees will start fanning to spread her pheromone, and they will smell that and know that that's their hive, and they will go into the hive on their own. So you can see the bees that we just dumped in there.
Give me a drone.
What's that?
A drone.
Drone?
Yeah. I'm going to show you what
see
a
if I can
male
see
bee...
one.
Yeah, I've seen one. I'm going to show you what a male bee looks like. If I can grab... Oh, right here.
Are they, what do the males do and what do
Males-
the females do?
Males cannot sting. They don't have a stinger. This is a male. He doesn't have a stinger. His only job is to mate with a queen. They beg for food. They
So this
have to
one-
beg.
Oh. This is a drone. This is a male. You can see they're bigger than the females.
And their big old eyes.
They do not have stingers, as Teresa just said.
They're my...
So the males do not sting, but the females do.
And in the
Okay.
winter, the females will kick the males out.
Oh, the males get kicked out?
Yes, dragging them. The women actually, the girls actually drag them out, and the guys are hanging out of stuff. Yeah, they get dragged out of their house. They're like, get out.
And then they just have to go find somewhere else to live for the winter?
Well, they die,
Oh, that's sad.
unfortunately. But
And then in the winter time, the females stay with the queen?
Yes.
most of those are females. They're workers and nurse bees,
Okay.
and
So females are workers and nurse bees.
mhm.
Okay. And what do they do that's different?
The nurse bees are the ones that take care of the babies and the brood, the eggs. There are field bees, the scout bees. They'll go out and find flowers and stuff. There's guard bees that guard the entrance. There's cleanup bees that do the housekeeping. They all have their different roles, and their roles are based on their age. So they go through different stages, and depending on the age of how old they are is what job they do. So they've got it all worked out. They got it all together.
Bees can only produce wax when they're young, so it's in the first couple of weeks of their life. After that, they don't produce it anymore. So all the wax in the hive comes from bees who are recently born. That's one of their first jobs.
And they actually make the wax in little wax sheets on their bottom of their stomachs. And they come out in little bitty slivers. And it's actually really cool to see.
So I've always heard that if a bee stings you, it doesn't live afterward. Is that true?
That is true.
Yes.
The stinger comes out.
So they
Most
don't
of the
really
time.
want to sting
They
you.
do not. They only sting you if you are in their hive or they feel threatened.
They clearly don't feel threatened.
Yeah, they don't.
These are very pheromone driven, so a lot of the attitude that you approach the hive with is what they key off of. So if you're calm, and again, that's another reason why I don't wear gloves, because I can work easily. Today they're getting inside my veil, and I'm not sure why. I got a hole in here somewhere. So they will, if you go in there and you start crushing bees and you start banging things around, they get really keyed up, and that's when you start having problems. Bees, as I said, are very pheromonal. So if you crush a bee, basically their attack pheromone is what comes out, and it riles them all up, and they go look for something to sting. They like to get under my sleeves all the time, so I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't hang open for her to go wandering around.
If
into
you
it,
do
'cause
get
then
stung though,
I end up crushing them. So.
you should rub some dirt on it if you have nothing else around you, because that dirt will cover up that pheromone, so they won't keep having that alarm going off.
Oh, that's good to know. My grandpa always used to find mud at the pond and put it
Yeah.
on his bee stings.
So I'm going to take the queen and I'm going to place her inside. So she's very healthy and running around in there.
So she's very
So-
active.
We want to, oh, I forgot my
Nail?
nail.
Where is it?
Hold on a second, I'll go grab it. Just need the nail.
Wanna check her out again
Yeah.
before she goes in.
I'm second guessing my decision not to wear gloves,
Ah,
but it's okay.
they usually don't sting.
No, they haven't
They're
been
very
around me.
good. A lot of people, they're very scared
So
of
now
bees.
the other bees are trying to get in there to smell the queen.
Mm-hmm. They're real. They're.
Do you think they like her?
Well, they're not. They're not being aggressive and ripping at the cage. So yeah, I think.
Oh, is that
they're-
how you
yep.
tell?
When you can move them aside really easily,
Okay.
then they're accepting her. If they wanted to get in there, I wouldn't be able to take my finger and move them because they would literally have
They would be holding on
locked
to
on
her.
Yep. So they've already accepted that she's their queen.
Oh, good. Hear that, kids? Mercymount's box has a new queen.
That's right. And she's very good. She's very active. Those are her attendants in there that she's got, looks like 3 or 4 that are in there taking care of just her.
Great.
She usually walks around and they guard her in a circle all the way around.
So
And
cool.
as she goes from spot to lay her eggs, they just follow her everywhere. And those are her attendants, and that's what they do. They feed her and clean her and bathe her.
And so a few attendants came with her that knew her
Yes.
to take care of her. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
We'll pull the cork out. Just using a finished nail to put a hole through the middle to make it a little easier for them to chew out. I always make sure that I can see the queen and that she's in the opposite end of the cage so I don't poke her in the face with the nail. Do it slowly enough that she wouldn't be damaged by it anyway, but I just think it's rude.
Alrighty.
Right, so I'm going to stick this in there. We want to make sure when we put it in that the screen, this is how she's going to be fed. So the other worker bees, nurse bees, will take honey out of the hive. This hive has honey in it already. So they'll take that honey and they will feed the queen through the screen. And that's how she will survive. So you want to make sure that you're not putting it this way so that it's pressed into the wax and they can't get to the queen. So they will feed her and keep her alive. Nurse bees don't care about any queen they will take care of. The worker bees are the ones that are territorial and they don't want foreign queens, but nurse bees will feed any queen.
Okay.
So the nurse bees will feed this queen, and we want to make sure that they have access to the queen so they can do that.
You want to tell them about the lifespan
Of
the queen and the workers?
as I mentioned before, a queen can live up to 4 years and still be viable. Workers typically live about a month or so, and they basically work themselves to death. You'll see their wings are all ragged and they're exhausted. They've worked very, very hard. It takes 12 bees' entire lifetime to make just a teaspoon of honey. So
Wow.
there's a lot to it. So you can see I'm attempting to put this frame here where there's a hole in the frame already so that I can put the two frames together to hold the queen in place.
Do you purchase those with the honey already in there?
No, these were from the hives that we had before.
Okay.
So I don't actually, I've never heard of a place where you can buy frames with honey in them, or even frames that are built out. You can buy what are called Nucleus Colonies, or nukes, which are basically 5 frames in a small box, which is already an established hive. So that it's, usually they'll sell those later in the season. So instead of just having a package that has to start from scratch, you're getting a head start with built out frames. So the queen is in there now. Did that shift? Can I put it in? I'll double check this.
It's alright.
It did, but yeah, it's okay. So they can still get to her.
So I'm looking at all the bees that are landing on me right now, and they're kind of fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have hair?
They
Yes,
are fuzzy.
Is that to keep them warm?
I have 2. It does keep them warm. It also, it's another sensory organ for them, so they can feel things. You have to remember, we can see everything now, but inside a hive, it's dark, and it's always dark, and there isn't any light. So their visual sense really doesn't do them much good when they're inside the hive. So what they will do, just put this top cover on and then I'll get back to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the top cover inner cover. This is a tricky part. We want to make sure that we move it around so that gives them, kind of bumps them, gives them time to get out of the way so we're not crushing them. And then the outer cover will go on.
And this hole is here so that they can be fed some sugar water. We can lay bags of sugar water in here and they can come up here and eat it in times when there's not enough pollen and stuff for them to eat.
How do they get in there?
Through the bottom, I have an entrance reducer on right now. There's a small space here for a new hive. We want to give them time to build up so that they can protect their hive. We give them a smaller entrance. There's not a lot of bees, so there's not a lot of traffic. So that will slow down the bees a little bit, but it will also make it so they can defend the hive against other bees, aggressive bees, or sometimes skunks come in and things like that. So that gives them less space to have to defend. Later on, as they build up, we'll remove that entrance reducer and give them the whole bottom. Like this is an established hive here. You can see the whole entrance is open for them to be able to come in and out because they don't need, there's enough bees for them to be able to defend the entire entrance. Try and interact with them as reasonably as possible.
And how long will it take this new hive to start making honey?
It depends on the year. Rain can have a lot to do with whether or not it's a good year or a bad year. Rain washes the nectar out of the blossoms, so that's what they use for honey. Typically, once the queen is out and laying, again, she can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day. Worker bees have a gestation cycle of 23 days. 23 days. A queen takes 16 days, and a drone takes 26 days. So in every 23 days, basically 2,000 new bees are hatching out. And so the hive can build up very quickly.
Wow.
If there's a good flow, if the weather is good, if it's warm, if it's not raining all the time, they can really put away some excess honey very quickly. They can fill, they could put in 3 to 5 pounds of honey on a good day. But sometimes you don't get any honey at all.
Okay. So these bees are all just getting to know each other because they may have been from different hives.
If you see them doing little...
And why are they flying around in circles?
Do orientation flights. Once they understand that this is their hive, they will come out and they will do these little orientation flights. You'll see them doing side to side, up and down, little circles. They're taking a look at their hive from different angles so they know it and they know how to get back to it and they know that belongs to them. So the bees, when they're first born, they don't come out of the hive for, I keep forgetting the exact times, like a couple of weeks. They stay in the hive, and it's not until they get older in their life they become field bees that they'll actually leave the hive and go find resources, be it water or pollen or nectar to turn into honey. And that's when they'll come out for the first time in crowds, and they will do their orientation flights to take a look and see what they live in so they can get back to it. And then they will start their life, or the final iteration of their lives.
How long do bees live?
About a month, somewhere around a month. They, like I was saying before, they will basically they'll work themselves to death. You'll see their wings will get ragged, and they'll really go all out. And Teresa has a frame right behind you.
Right here. You want to come over here and explain this, honey?
So
while
this
I hold
is an
it?
established hive.
I did my best without my glasses. So these covered cells here are females. So they're worker bees that are about to be born. You see these couple that are, well, there's one there that's sticking out a little more, and this one, those are drones. Drones are bigger, so they need more space. So instead of their cell being flat, it pops out a little bit.
Okay,
What the queen will do is she can decide to lay a worker or a drone. A drone is an unfertilized egg. So if she lays an unfertilized egg, it'll be a drone.
Do you see any eggs? Larvae?
I do see larvae here. I'm not sure if there's any eggs. I don't have my glasses here, but if you look, you'll see small little white half circles in there.
Yeah.
That's bee larvae.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
So we want to be careful not to keep it out too long because we can chill the brood and that can cause problems.
So that will go back in.
They're not fragile. So.
And how long has this hive been established?
That's a good question.
Actually, it's only been a little bit. We lost all of our hives, so this one's not been a few weeks. I put a couple of frames of bees in here, and it's still got a long way to go. There's probably more bees in that package than are in this hive right now. So, assume they
All right.
all have over 50,000 bees in them. I think that's usually up to like 100,000, isn't it? When it's like really robust.
Probably at best close to 70,000.
All right. Well, thank you. This has been great. Sorry, we lost camera for a second. A bee flew up my sleeve, so I was getting. I was trying to get that out of my sleeve.
Hey, you didn't even scream.
No, I'm good. I just couldn't hold the video camera steady. But thank you so much. This has been great, and we're so excited. This is Mercymount's little beehive. We hope you love your new decorated house. Thanks again. Thank you, Honeybee Havens.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.